to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Chuck. And this, my friends, is The Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And you know what? I'm actually thinking about dropping the wine part. I can just go with the internet's most passionate show, because let's be honest, on the passion meter, I'm just not sure who can hang. And we are back at Blue Ribbon Wine Bar, which we did during that whole series in New York a couple of months ago. It was snowing back then. Do you remember the nice view?
It was December.
This time we can't because of the sun and the camera. I get it. But a gorgeous backdrop, a quaint little gorgeous place, and just a very powerful chain in New York. I don't want to call them a chain, but they're just so bright. I mean, they've got 4 or 5 spots and 1 spot in Brooklyn. I just have an enormous amount of, or maybe more than 1 spot in Brooklyn? 2, see? They're moving so fast, it's tough. Just really respect the fact that it's real. When I got to meet the ownership, the thing that hit me more than anything else was it was so real. And to me, that's what I'm most passionate about our show, what I'm most passionate about with wine. And so we just rolled in here, stormed in here, no plan. I just acted like I owned the place and basically looked at what they had by the glass and randomly picked it. And see, that's what's cool about them. You know, Maud, a lot of people have asked me on Wine Library TV, and then when I tell them, listen, I got to tell the truth about the wines, you know, they decline. And so I always wonder, why would you be scared to, you know, show your product if you believe in your product? So I think a lot more people out there don't believe in their product, believe in the marketing, believe in the hype, and that's what we're trying to break down. We're trying to get you to trust your own palate. Nothing in the world would make me happier than if you disagreed with every wine review I ever had, as long as that's your taste and you embrace that. But most of all, you need to try different things. And I think I'm pretty excited about what we picked here. 2 wines, very different. We have a Gewürztraminer from a very great producer. And the reason I did this one was, believe it or not, Buckland was one of the 101 wines that was in my book, just their Zinfandel. This is their Gewürztraminer, which I've never had. We have a wine from Greece, which is always fun. Another country, as you guys know, that I think with Portugal is going to make the move into the mainstream U.S. market. First, it's going to hit restaurants, clearly, and then it's going to get more mainstream. And then, of course, we got to go Pinot Noir. You know, everybody's talking about it, but Brewer Clifton, really real guys making amazing stuff. I haven't had the Rio Vista 2006, so that's kind of just something I'm doing for myself, if you don't mind. So other than that, we're going to jump right into that. I definitely want to, at this point, thank everybody that's been supporting the book, because I know when this is airing, it's already out, even though it's not. And so I just want to thank you so much for that support. And now I want to delve and jump into the vino. So get ready to zoom in, my man. Oh, look, this thing went on. Maybe you won't be able to hear me now. Buckland, 2006, Campani Portis Vineyard, Gewürztraminer. Buckland is a very solid producer, really known for their Zinfandels. Out of Sonoma, I've been very impressed with the wines that I've had from them in the past, and I'm excited about trying this. Let's go to these little Spiegel glasses over here. As you can see, Mott, you want to zoom in, really beautiful color. What I think is very imperative. You didn't get a chance there, see?
You're too fast.
I'm too fast. Like Blue Ribbon, they just open up another location. What has always fascinated me with Gewürztraminer is the fact that very few people drink it, most people think it's crap, and 3, how obnoxiously, redonkulously well it goes with spicy Asian Thai cuisine. I mean, especially with the movement that we're now seeing in the US for healthier eating, spiciness, things of that nature. Gewürztraminer is your friend, Vaniacs, and you need to embrace it. Get off the Chardonnay train, push aside Sauvignon Blanc, throw the Pinot Grigio in the back, bring Gewürztraminer and embrace it. Hug time with Gewürztraminer, because it's a great varietal, doing amazing things out of the Alsace in France, but also domestically has shown some interesting capabilities. I've also had a couple from New Zealand and Chile that I've been impressed with. Now, I noticed something really fun. Only 598 cases produced this, so a little small. Let's give it a snippy sniff. And see, ultimately, this is why these wines are so exciting. I mean, aromatically, right off the top, this is a gorgeous effort. Just beautiful pear flavor coming through on the nose, which is really racy and exciting. Almost like poached pear. Really like it. Little hints of graininess, maybe a little grape nut cereal thrown on top of your poached pear. Very pretty. There's a little lemon zest kind of thing going on as well, but absolutely aromatically explosive. And when you go AE, you know you're going to like to be my friend. I'm always pushing for you guys to smell more of the wine, and I think a lot of people are missing that point when they're tasting wine, and so I hope you do that. Let's give it a whirl. drinking on this Thunder show. Now, the first thing that hits me right away is it's got a lot of fruit. Also, a very interesting floral component coming through on the mid palate. Let's call it dandelions, little white flower kind of thing going on there. Really, really nice. Finishes with a gorgeous little spritz of sweetness, and I'm talking subtle town USA. So don't go running around thinking this is a sweet wine, but it's got enough hint of residual sugar on the tail end that just makes it extremely delightful. And that component, that secret sauce, is what makes it so exciting with a lot of spicy foods. There's a very interesting lemon thing going on, and the best way I can describe it is it kind of tastes like Mr. Clean smells. You know, just like that fresh lemony, you're like, wow, the floor smells so good. That's the kind of flavor profile. This is really good, actually. A lot of complexities on the finish that you don't find with most Gewürztraminer. Without really knowing the price point retail on this Gewürz, I'm going to think based on the winery, it's probably in that $20 range. I think that's extremely fair for a wine like this. If it's higher, pass. If it's lower, get it. But I'm feeling this wine. I'm going to score this wine 90 points. I'm a big, big fan of this. It's obviously a beautiful day, and that really lends itself to even liking this wine even more. An extremely good start to the show. Let's move on. Now we're going with a very interesting wine from Greece. This is the Domaine Maracori, and this is mainly made from Rafesco, which is a very interesting varietal that you see in Italy and in Greece at times. And it's a 2004 vintage. Now, my real excitement with Greece is really on the white wine side. I think the whites that are coming out of there are just exceptional, crisp, clean, all the things we love about New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc and Pinot Grigio and all the other things that we're excited about, crisp, clean white wines, even with the Gewürztraminer. The red wines I've been a little bit slower to adopt and get excited about, but let's see what this brings to the table. The color's nice. I mean, I like the fact that we can see our fingers. You know, it's nice to see these wines starting to get a little less dark. It's okay if you're not pitch black. Red wine producers, get off of it already finally. Please, let's give this a sniffy sniff. Now, this is an interesting little wine. Very, very heavy on the sour cherry component on the nose. It also gets very green. I get a broccoli kind of component. So imagine taking like fresh squeezed cherry juice, which if you ever had real cherry juice, you know is much more sour without the sugar, and pouring that on top of broccoli rabe. That's what this smells like exactly. So that's kind of interesting if you think that's fun. I find it solid, kind of very Italian-esque. For lack of a better word. Let's see what's going on here. Now again, when I'm tasting this wine, right off top, I can tell that this wine's been open for a while. You can just tell the smooth factor. The fact that there's good, harsh, bitter tannins, but they've been smoothed out. And so I feel like this bottle is probably open for a day or two. And so that's exciting. That's a little bit different. Keep in mind, as I'm reviewing with this wine, that's happening. Think about how many times you've kept a wine on your kitchen counter open, or you did the vacuum pump or whatever, and you've liked it so much more the second day. Oxygen is your friend, kids. You know, kids that are 21 and older. Anyway, it's going to break it down and allow you to taste more flavors. There's a smoothness factor to this wine. It's a little bit light for me, so that's a little bit of a concern. And it has a hollow, I mean wide open, like video game you shoot a hole through some guy's chest. Wide open like this, hollow mid-palate. So that bothers me. There's no transition fruit or complexities that I really look for in exciting and serious wines. But it's very pleasant up front, and it finishes well, which is what I call a tricky trick wine. If you're not really looking for it, which by the way, I don't blame you for not, but good upfront flavors and really silky on the finish is a crowd pleaser. From a wine standpoint, that's great. If that's what you want, super. For me, it's just not interesting in the midsection, and that bothers me a little bit. It also tails off, and the flavors are kind of subtle, and I feel like there's a lot of wines out there that also have similar characteristics. However, with that all being said, with some of those pot shots, it's really not that bad, and it's, I think, a very, like I said, crowd-pleasing red wine. I was wondering why this wine was suckering me into liking it more than I should based on how it's made. Right before you take a sip, there's a really big dose of English peas, which, by the way, may be my favorite snack of all time. Doritos, cupcakes, I'm out. If you put English peas at a party, they're all mine. They're big, they're delicious, I'm into it. So that flavor profile, and there it is, like as you're opening your mouth, right there, you're really getting that, and that's suckering me. But it's not going to sucker me. I'm not going to let it trick me. I'm going to score the wine 87 points, and to be dead honest with you, I have no clue what the price point in this wine is, and so that's where you get into the QPR. If this wine is rolling in between $8 and $12 retail, I would be excited about it. Above 15, I would probably say it's a pass, but we'll do our homework. By the time we air this, we'll know. Maybe we'll do, Mom, maybe you'll put a little note here. Do it right here, Mom. Bam. Make me look cool. Bam. So that's that. Let's move on. And this is a producer I'm very familiar with. One, because when I hung out with them in California, it was the night of the Mike Tyson-Lennox Lewis fight, and we were driving all over Santa Rita looking for a place to watch the fight. We never did get to see the fight, and to this day, it crushes my soul. I'm still sad. Just want to make that point. Brewer Clifton, 2006, Rio Vista Pinot Noir. This is going to roll in the 50s, 60s, no doubt, a bottle, so pretty serious stuff. 9,504 bottles produced. I like that on the back of the label. And Brewer Clifton's been hot for a while now, and they've been making really serious Pinot Noirs for at least a half a decade, maybe longer. And I remember whenever that Tyson fight was, what is that, 2001, 2, somewhere in that range, maybe even longer than that. We sent out an email and got every customer of Wine Library to get on the mailing list, and it worked out because this was pretty much now a restaurant and mailing list brand only. And then Parker came out and said they were better than some Romani Contis, and then that changed the whole game and the whole landscape of this brand. Now, one thing you're going to find interesting, Mon, I want you to zoom in on this. This is one of the lighter Pinot Noirs that I've come across in a long time, and I think this is an indication of where the Pinot Noir market is going. I think we had the whole sideways explosion, and then a lot of producers felt they needed to make bigger, bolder wines because that's what the American palate was leaning towards over the last 3 to 5 years. It's good to see them kind of go back and treat Pinot Noir the way it's supposed to be, which is you can see your fingers through it. So, if you ever have a Pinot and you can't see your fingers through it, be careful. Be aware. Let's give this wine a sniffy sniff. Right off the bat, I'm excited because I get a little poop, a little sheep butt, a lot of terroir fertilizer thing going on. That's real Pinot. It's also surrounded by a smokiness. I get like a smoked ham kind of component. There's also a very obvious venison, vegetable. This really tastes like something my grandma would make in the 80s, like when we first came to America and weren't eating American food. Like, Mom, can I have McDonald's? No, eat the borscht. You know, that kind of stuff. So this has really a lot of meatiness and some interesting vegetal components to the wine as well. Really interesting nose. A real throwback and very Burgundian. And so right off the bat, that's kind of interesting. Let's give it a whirl. I can't stop smelling it, but it's really interesting. All right, let's give it a whirl. Red peppers. Sorry. Wow. So this wine's 15.4 alcohol content. That's the reason I checked was I felt the alcohol in the mid-palate, but it was so overdone by the fruit and so explosive. There's a really interesting tobacco component on the back end, mixed in with like red berries, you know, cassis and strawberries, and a little hint of raspberry as well. If you want to talk about a wine that absolutely pairs perfectly with duck, there's nothing better than a true terroir-driven Santa Rita Hills Pinot Noir. What I mean by that is they've been making Pinot there long before Sideways, and it was always good, and it was an area. And then I think with the fame, they kind of started making bigger wines. And I think this, which is clearly a throwback, a little time machine back to 2001, are the kind of wines I'm excited about in this region. This is really good. I mean, this has tremendous bright red fruit, interesting tobacco, venison, earthy, gaminess kind of things going on, and just completely bouncing. I mean, this wine is bouncing, like one of those little bouncy balls. I mean, just bouncing all over my palate. I'm still tasting it as I'm yapping, so we're talking about a 1-minute finish. Completely interesting. Drinks now, but easily a wine you could put away for 3 to 5 years in the cellar, and I think will even open up more. And there's underneath that tannins, I feel like there's almost a floral component that I'm missing out on. Little hints of like rose petal and lilac on the tail end, which I'm really enjoying. This is complexity. This is fine complexity. You know, I know a wine's elegant when for some unknown reason, on a completely random point, perfume pops in my mind. And as I'm tasting this, that's where I'm going. And so, I'm a feeler of this wine. I like it. I'm going to score this wine 92 plus points. And I'm going to say that if it's hovering below 60 bones, which I think it could, or maybe not, I don't know, then it's something that if you want for a special occasion, and you're into duck especially, that you would absolutely love to pair with. And if you see it on the restaurant list, and the boss is paying for it, and you can expense it, go there. Question of the day. Since we're in a wine bar, and since I'm going to be traveling a crap load, especially when this is airing, what is your favorite wine bar in the US? Lurkers, please answer. You've been watching my show and you haven't left a comment. Can you do that? It's free. Give it to me, please. Because you, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not.